A community determined to survive tragedy and thrive in no man's land understands the value of investing in the future. And in Hooker, the Bulldog spirit has been strong for more than 105 years. On March 3rd, patrons of the Hooker School District will have an opportunity to invest in the future of the city of Hooker by investing in the future of its school district. The Hooker Board of Education has examined the immediate needs of the students while considering the future needs of the district. Rising construction costs and today's record low interest rates make this an opportune time to invest in the district. With input from across the community, the focus has fallen upon the more than 100-year-old high school building.
When I first came here, I had zero intention or desire to go into a building program. But I had people who have children in school who came to me and said, you know, we have got to do something about our school building.
This building's been here since 1907. You hear a lot of people say, well, my mother went there, my father went there, it was good enough for them, it's good enough for the current students today. Problem is, schooling in 1950 is not the same as it is in 2015. The computers and all the modern technologies and the way technology is increasing so fast, to be able to prepare our students to deal in a modern time, we have to prepare them with modern technologies as much as possible, and that's hard to do in a building that was built in 1907.
Because of the increased requirements of the educational process, we're actually in the high school and junior high area running out of classrooms. We're needing more rooms than the building has in it. And at the same time, at the grade school, because of the growth in the enrollment, we're running out of classrooms at the grade school also. It became evident that the only viable thing to do was to look at a new building project.
With increased enrollment over the past several years, classrooms are overcrowded, and a significant number of ADA safety, security, and hazardous materials issues must be corrected. Consideration was given to renovating the existing building, but costs would be substantial. Changes in the building's appearance would be significant, and the space would not meet future needs.
It would not be realistic for the taxpayers in this community to spend the kind of money they would have to spend on that old building and still have a 100-year-old building.
We looked over the existing facilities to see what they had and how we might reuse those if possible. And of course we ran into a little problem there because they're landlocked for one thing, but then as we got into looking at the building, it has so many things that need to be changed and reconstructed that we realized that if it were even possible or economically feasible to remodel the building to meet current codes, I'm afraid the patrons of Hooker Schools wouldn't recognize the original building when we're through.
I love this school, but it's time for a new school. We have so many problems. The bathrooms don't work part of the time, so there's always a line. You can't get in and out real fast. And of course there is no such thing as a teacher restroom.
We're limited here on not only our technology, we're limited on just how the technology works. I got wires going all over the place in my room. To me, it's a safety hazard. It would be nice to be in a modern facility to where I don't have to worry about that.
The high school building is just not even close to being ADA compliant, OSHA compliant. There are so many safety issues involved with the high school that it would be impossible financially to address all of them.
Going down the hall to my classroom, to go into my classroom is a little teeny tiny lip. I cannot tell you how many accidents we've had. That is a real danger in just my classroom.
Safety concerns are just that. I mean, you think about it all the time because you're a parent.
Fire escape thing from the back, like for the third floor. Oh yeah, that's crazy. It's like some old stairs on the side of the school.
I have a lot of kids that are in my outer office. I've had up to 5 kids most of the first semester in my office. We've had accidents and we've had sports injuries, we've had surgeries, and the kids are unable to get up the stairs. Not only are the stairs steep, but they're narrow, and there's a lot of them, and so they're not able to go to their classes, which is hindering their education. Teachers do a good job of giving them material, but they're not in the classroom to have the interaction with the students and the teacher, and they're not able to keep up on their grades like they need to.
The Hooker School Board has called a $25,740,000 bond issue to build a new junior high school building designed to meet the current and future needs of the students in the Hooker School District.
My biggest concern, I think, is lack of space and technology. We don't have any more room to put any more technology in. We've turned classrooms that did not have outlets, and I don't even know how safe it is because we have wires, hundreds of wires going through the ceiling just so that I can have 4 computers in my classroom. When I want to use a computer lab, I go beg and I say, Mrs. Kraft, may I use your computer lab next week on Thursday? And so she prepares her lessons so that she can come up and use my room, and I take my students down and we use her room, and that way I can have a computer lab.
We can either just keep throwing money in trying to keep it alive, or we can face reality that something new needs to come. We need a new building.
If we're going to tear things down, move things or build things in the area where the old high school is, we can't have school there while that's going on. Those kinds of building projects take a couple of years, and our kids don't have a place to go to school for a couple of years.
It's time. It's time that we get a new building. We haven't added on to anything school-wise since the late 90s, from what I understand. It's time that we do something.
The new school will be located just south of the football, gymnasium, and softball complex. And designed to reflect the character and history of Hooker.
Well, I think we're at a crossroads. I think Hooker's best days are ahead of us. With the culture you see happening in Liberal and Guyman, there's a reason why people are running to Hooker.
I feel, is address that issue of expansion with the new school building out there. We have room to do it, and it'll be built in a way where there can be expansion. We're up here, we're kind of limited on our space and what we can do as far as expanding in the future.
The building will include a junior high classroom wing, a high school classroom wing, as well as band and choral rooms, PE facilities, a practice gym, weight room, kitchen and common area, VOAG facility, auditorium, technology classrooms, library, and administrative offices. In addition, 2 of the new classrooms will be constructed as storm-safe rooms to accommodate all of the students and staff.
People see that, they're gonna say, oh, there's a town that cares. There's a town that's growing. There's a town that's got some things together.
The school is going to allow the kids to be in a modern facility that is going to allow them to get a modern education in a modern way.
Now, I know what some people say, like my mother. Well, we survived just fine. Well, there weren't as many kids going up and down those stairs when my mother went to school here. Our population has expanded. We have outgrown the school.
Why did we ever build anything onto it? Why was anything ever added? Why was anything ever changed? People over the years saw that there was a need to do something different, so they did it. The people in this community over the years spent the money and took the time to try and make that building a better place for their kids to go to school. They did that because they care, and we've reached a point where we can't make that building the kind of place where kids can get the kind of education that they require.
The board gave serious consideration to the impact this proposal will have on the taxpayers and made every effort to assure the district and the community will receive the greatest benefit from every tax dollar.
When you're raising people's taxes, you want to be responsible with what you're doing. It's not that much difference in the cost of refurbishing the old school as compared to building a new school.
There's what we want, then there's reality of how it's going to affect people, and it will affect the farming community more so than it would just the person living downtown. But I was very happy to hear my family say, yes, it's time. And it's not going to get any better, and it could just basically get worse.
The proposed school bond issue, totaling $25,740,000, will be repaid over 18 years through an ad valorem tax. With no increase in many years, the current millage for Hooker schools is quite low as compared with other districts in the region. These bonds will bring about an increase of 39.7 mils for the new school building. How will this millage increase impact taxpayers? If your total property tax was $100 last year, the proposed bonds would increase your tax by $71.41 per year, or just $5.95 per month. This total increase would be dedicated to the Hooker School District. If, for example, your annual property tax is $500 per year, you should anticipate an annual increase of $357.05, or just $29.75 per month to fund the new building proposed for Hooker schools.
Our community gets to make this decision for us, and we build a building that stays here. And a lot of the money that's involved in the bond issue will be spent here.
So the first dime we take, you're going to see it going into something that it's tangible and it's in front of us.
Money's not going to be any cheaper, more likely than not, than it is right now. And you know, we understand this isn't a cheap project. I mean, we want to do it the right way, you know, and have something we can be proud of and something that's going to stand the test of time and do it the right way.
A lot of times when, you know, somebody new is coming into the community or thinking about going to a community, they look at what the facilities are like for their kids. And if, you know, you got newer facilities, they're gonna be drawn to that. So I think it's an opportunity really for growth in the long run.
If the bond issue doesn't pass over the next few years, there will still be some major expenditures that will have to happen.
The only thing you can do is do what you think is right. And I think it would be right to help these kids out, the staff, and the future to put a new school up.
I want the students that are in my classroom right now and the little children that I see all around Hooker, I want them to be able to be successful when they go off to college and in their futures, because we are just not able to compete right at this moment if we don't do something.
I would love to see us pass this bond issue and build a new school. I think it would be the greatest thing for this community that has happened in many, many years. But I think it's very important that people get out and vote, that they come and voice their opportunity to help make this decision, regardless of whether they vote for it or against it.
I think, you know, as a community, we need to all put our voice in. You know, we get a feel of what the community's really want and really thinking. So I think it's important that everyone votes.
You know, as a social studies teacher as I am, I think if you're not participating in the democracy, then you're not being a good citizen, for one. And I, don't think you can complain about something if you don't go out and vote yay or nay for it. Go out and state your opinion on it.
Marzo 3, quiero que vengan todos para venir a ayudar la comunidad de Hooker y hacer una nueva escuela para un mejor mañana, for a better tomorrow. On March 3rd, I advise everyone that wants to support the community of Hooker to come and vote for a better place for Hooker.
Support another century of educational excellence in Hooker. Invest in our students. Invest in our community. Vote March 3rd.